Episode 273. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Calls erupt for New Jersey mayor's resignation. State takeover after racist recordings aired. I love that there was no waiting for a re-election or waiting for another term, two ways out, the door or the window. When Plainfield Mayor Adrian Mapp listened Wednesday to the recordings of a man going on racist tirades against black people, he said he recognized the voice immediately. Absolutely no question, Mapp said. You want to phone a friend? You want to use a lifeline? Nope. Final answer. That's him. That was the voice of six-term Clark Township Mayor Sal Bonacorso, one of three township officials a whistleblower secretly recorded allegedly using racial slurs that included spooks, shines, and the N-word. I don't know if I should be more offended that they're still using the same old slurs from Prohibition. Bonacorso also allegedly criticized women in law enforcement, calling them all expletive disasters. He's a real people person. How the hell did he make 6 terms? Bonacorso said, "I have no comment, thank you," when told Thursday of calls for his resignation, then ended the phone call. Where was that closed mouth energy when you were throwing those old boardwalk empire slurs and misogynistic terms about women around? A New Jersey advanced media investigation published Wednesday found Clark officials quietly paid the whistleblower and his attorney $400,000 to keep a lid on the explosive recordings, which allegedly captured police chief Pedro Matos and an internal affairs sergeant using racial slurs as well. These people are idiots, not just your run-of-the-mill type of moron. We're talking about how are there not Nerf bullets in your gun type of foolishness. And Mapp may be just one of the growing chorus of officials to condemn the remarks and Clark's handling of the controversy. On Thursday, those included Governor Phil Murphy. Governor Murphy is deeply disturbed by these allegations, both regarding the hateful language and subsequent misappropriation of municipal resources aimed at a misguided attempt to obscure the truth. Murphy's spokeswoman, Aliana Alfaro Post, said in a statement to New Jersey Advanced Media, "Here's the problem. We understand what she's talking about, but half the law enforcement officials that she's addressing it to are either picking their nose or looking at her chest halfway through the sentence." The settlement agreement allowed the whistleblower, Lieutenant Antonio Manana, to remain on the payroll for more than 2 years without working at an additional cost of $289,700 in salary alone. Because the only thing these people understand is when you hit them in the fucking wallet. In exchange, Manana did not file a lawsuit that would have brought the allegations into the public eye, and he turned over the recordings to ensure they wouldn't be disseminated. Matos, 49, and Internal Affairs Sergeant Joseph Testone, 36, did not respond to repeated attempts to reach them for comment by phone, email, and letters sent to their home detailing New Jersey Advanced Media's findings. Bonacorso previously denied he and others used racist language, claimed he knew nothing about the recordings, and said he has many black friends. And not one of them told you not to use that if you get caught being the racist that they knew you were? Wednesday's revelations drew condemnation in Plainfield, a city with a large black population that came up twice in the recordings. They also raised questions about the oversight of prosecutors in Union County who took over Clark's police department in July 2020, 6 months after the settlement was signed. In so doing, prosecutors said the state attorney general's office cited credible allegations of misconduct, but offered no detail they have yet to complete their investigation. Man convicted of seeking assassinations of judge, prosecutors, FBI agents. Sentencing is scheduled for August 8th for a former Laguna Beach resident convicted of soliciting the murders of a judge, two prosecutors, and a pair of FBI agents, Mulder and Scully, who put him in a federal prison for fraud. John Arthur Walthall faces up to 20 years in federal prison for his conviction Friday of soliciting the killing of former U.S. District Judge Andrew Guilford, as well as the law enforcement agents. Guilford has sentenced them to 14 years in federal prison on a fraud case. Jurors deliberated for about 2.5 hours Friday before convicting the 66-year-old Walthall. 2.5 hours is like that kid that kept asking questions about the homework when clearly the bell has already rung. Walthall sought others to do what he could no longer do himself. Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Shepard said in his opening statement of the trial, he intended for the people who put him in prison to die horrific deaths. Because that little thing about fraud had nothing to do with the reason that put you here in the first place, right? He did it simply to have the freedom he desired and the revenge he craved, Shepard said, like a shitty villain origin story. Walthall was in prison serving the 14-year federal sentence for a gold investment scheme when he was indicted in December 2014 for soliciting the killing of Guilford and the others. His first trial in April 2016 ended with jurors deadlocked and 10-2 in favor of guilt. But he was, you two assholes, I want to go home. But he was convicted in a retrial. The case centered around his comments to fellow Lompoc inmates Crisanto Diego Trejos Ortiz and Antonio Rodriguez, as well as an undercover FBI agent about hiring a hit squad to kill the judge and the others. How racist is the white guy going immediately to the two Spanish inmates for a hit job? How do you know they're not in there for ripping the tags off of mattresses? Walthall's attorney, Charles Brown, said Rodriguez and Ortiz, I'm not making this up, people, received reductions on their time behind bars for working as confidential informants in the case. His plan was so outrageous on his face, Brown said. He hit on a plan to kill the judge, prosecutors, and agents as a way to get his case dismissed and freed. Of course, because once you kill these few people, there just aren't any more judges, prosecutors, or agents, right? The informants approached him with a spark of an idea, Brown said. That spark ignited an idea which spread like wildfire in the dry kindling in John Walthall's mind, and he could not stop talking about it. Walthall would come up with ridiculous plans straight out of Tom Clancy novels, Brown said. One included using a drone to get a phone to a hitman with whom he could coordinate the attacks. He told the fellow inmates he would pay them $25 million to hire a 15-member hit squad from Colombia, Brown said. He said they would have someone open up a trust in Canada and he would pay them with money from gold mines. How do you not continue the conversation with the man that says he's going to pay you from a gold mine? It was a hit squad on consignment, Brown said. You'll have to ask yourselves if this was a bona fide plan or the fantastical musings of a lonely man, Brown said. At what point do thoughts become crimes? At what point do our fantasies become criminal? Walthall lacked the means to effectuate the plan, Brown said. All you really have is a lonely revenge fantasy without the means to effectuate it, which is not a crime. Here's an update to an article that I covered last week. Blew my mind. It really stood out to me. Boyfriend charged with fatally stabbing woman after police drop murder charges against their ex. They had arrested her ex. Her ex had a restraining order, and they arrested him. They thought it was him. Detectives in Bergen County have arrested the boyfriend of a woman found stabbed to death last weekend in Leonia after first arresting her ex-boyfriend for the crime. Now Diakos, 35, of Leonia, is charged with murder, weapons possession, and hindering his own apprehension in the death of Alicia A. Arnon, 35, who was found stabbed in the head and neck, according to an affidavit of probable cause. What makes it look weird in hindsight is that he pulls up after all this happens, which is not strange in itself, but immediately after it happens, like somehow you just missed the guy that did it. Confronted with evidence developed during the investigation, one of the eyewitnesses recanted the identification. Musella said, "I'm going to go on ahead and assume it was the daughter that found her when this all happened." Diakos was then arrested for killing the woman, the prosecutor said. According to the probable cause affidavit, Diakos first told police he entered the apartment on Grand Avenue last Saturday and saw the victim dead on the floor with a knife near her head. The first suspect was then arrested and charged with murder based on witness statements. But as detectives investigated further, they uncovered phone recordings in which Diakos would confess to stabbing Arnon multiple times, specifically stating that he stabbed Arnon in the neck and chest. The affidavit states Diakos, who also implicated himself in text messages, stated that he left the apartment after the killing, then circled back to the front of the residence as if he was just arriving on the scene. The affidavit states if he wouldn't have did that, that man, that innocent man, probably would have still been locked up. This was done to make the appearance that he was just arriving at the residence as a witness who discovered the body. The affidavit describes Diakos as having mental health issues with a history of stalking and making terroristic threats towards others. The ex-boyfriend, who was first arrested, was released from custody on Wednesday, concurrent with the recantation of an eyewitness at the charging of now Diakos. Musella said the charges have been dismissed, court records show. Feds charge Oakland man who allegedly shot himself in the groin during fatal gun battle. Guess who won't be needing those male birth control pills? And do you really want a guy like that breeding in the first place? Federal prosecutors in the Bay Area have filed felony charges against the man who allegedly accidentally shot himself in the groin during a July 2021 shootout that killed a 49-year-old man. Records show Nicholas West, 23, was charged with being a felon in possession of ammunition in connection with the July 7th, 2021 shooting. West was seen on video firing his gun, then accidentally discharged the round into his groin while attempting to pull the weapon from his waistband. Authorities allege in a criminal complaint, and you hear Bugs Bunny music playing in the background the whole time. West is being held without bail in Santa Rita jail in Dublin. Records show the shooting occurred about 11:40 p.m. outside LT Liquors on the corner of 77th Avenue and Bancroft Avenue in Oakland. It started when two groups of people started firing at each other across Bancroft Avenue. Police say there were at least three shooters and that 49-year-old Johnny Armstrong was shot and killed during the gun battle. It is unclear whether he was a bystander or the shooter's intended target. After the shootout, West reportedly got into a car parked near the liquor store and checked himself into Highland Hospital. According to the complaint, he was not allowed to possess guns or ammunition due to a 2017 gun possession conviction, according to the complaint. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.